Today, we're taking a deep dive into the story of one of East Africa's most incredible and influential families. We're talking about a dynasty whose impact you can feel across borders, generations, and pretty much every professional field you can think of. This is the story of the Aworis.
You know, some family names are just synonymous with achievement, and this is definitely one of them. From medicine and politics to education and finance, the Aworis didn't just help build modern Kenya and Uganda. In so many cases, they were the ones leading the charge, breaking down barriers and setting a whole new standard for what was possible.
Well, every great dynasty has its founders, right? And for the Aworis, it all started with a visionary patriarch and a forward-thinking matriarch. Their values became the absolute bedrock for generations of leaders to come.
The foundation of this incredible family tree was this man, Canon Jeremiah Awori. He was a true giant of his time, and not just in physical stature, but in his character and his influence. I mean, being a clergyman was just the beginning for him. He was also a trailblazing farmer, a really sharp trader, and a dedicated councilman. He was a leader in every sense of the word. What's so fascinating when you look at his life is that it was just a series of firsts. Born around 1886, Jeremiah goes on to become the very first ordained Lulia Anglican clergyman, and his wife, Mariamu, was a community leader in her own right. Together they were this incredible power couple. From his mission base, his work led to over 100 churches being established. Think about that, a legacy of faith and community that would long outlive him after his passing in 1971.
Jeremiah and Mariamu raised 16 surviving children. 16! And they didn't just raise a large family, they managed to instill in every single one of them this powerful drive for hard work, discipline, and excellence that would launch them to the very top of their fields.
And that foundation that Jeremiah and Mariamu laid, well, it gave rise to a generation of absolute trailblazers. It's pretty much impossible to talk about the Awori children without using the word first. The scope of what they achieved is just staggering. In medicine, an Awori led the team that performed the first successful kidney transplant in Black Africa. In banking, an Awori became Kenya's very first female bank manager. In politics, an Awori was on the front lines fighting for independence. You see the pattern here? This wasn't just a successful family, it was a family that was constantly breaking new ground.
So let's zoom in on a few of them. First up, Professor Nelson Awori. He was a brilliant surgeon and researcher. His landmark moment came in 1978, when he led the surgical team that performed that historic kidney transplant. But he didn't stop there. He also founded the entire urology department at the University of Nairobi, creating this institutional legacy that continues to train doctors and save lives to this day.
Then you have Wycliffe Works Wasia Awori, or WWW. This guy was a force of nature, a fiery politician, journalist, and trade unionist who was a central figure in the fight for Kenya's independence. He was deeply involved with the Kenya-African Union, the KAU, and was actually its last president before it was banned, a true freedom fighter.
And in the worlds of finance and education, you have Dr. Mary Okello, who was just as revolutionary. She completely shattered the glass ceiling at Barclays to become Kenya's first ever female bank manager. But her vision was even bigger. She went on to found the Kenya Women Finance Trust to empower women financially, and she established the McKinney Schools, a network that has become a benchmark for educational excellence in the region.
And honestly, the list just keeps going, and it shows such incredible diversity. Hannington was a titan of the corporate world. They called him the king of the boardroom. Ernest was an MIT-trained engineer. Joshua was a top HR director. Christine became an accomplished lawyer, and Grace a general manager. The point is, this level of excellence wasn't just in one or two fields, it was absolutely everywhere. So we've seen excellence in medicine, finance, and engineering. But the family's political influence is on a whole other level, and it's truly astonishing because it crossed national borders. This brings us to two brothers who climbed to the highest levels of government in two different countries.
On one side, you've got Arthur Uncle Moody Awori in Kenya. He was a long-serving member of parliament who rose all the way to become the nation's 9th vice president. Then, just across the border, his brother, Aggrey Awori, was carving out his own incredible path in Uganda. A Harvard grad, a two-time Olympian, Aggrey became a cabinet minister and even ran for president in 2001.
I mean, just pause and think about that for a moment. One family, producing national leaders at the highest level in two separate countries at the same time. This kind of cross-border political dynasty is basically unheard of in the region's history. It's just a stunning testament to a family whose identity and influence truly went beyond the lines on a map.
So what does this all add up to? The Awori story isn't just a collection of cool individual achievements. It is an enduring legacy of collective impact that has genuinely shaped the fabric of East African society.
This table really helps you see the sheer breadth of their contributions all at once. In politics, you have national leadership and independence activism. In medicine, a historic surgical first. In finance, barrier-breaking leadership. In education, the creation of an institution of excellence. In journalism, a voice for liberation. It's a powerful picture of how one family's drive can fuel progress across an entire society.